Hello everyone and welcome to Haxball Tactical Analysis. Today we'll be making an analysis of the Division 2 final. We're gonna analyze two goals, so let's first see the first one, analyze it and then go to the second one. Played in 0.5 speed. Okay, we have the pass. Okay, let's see what went wrong. This will be a quite short one. Okay, so we're gonna start off here first. This is going to be a throw-in for the red team. One thing that I want you to note here is that usually you want to have in these situations you want to have that player positioned here to cover that pass, and you also want that player to be closer here to the line, but it's understandable. It was a quick throw-in that happened after a press here in that zone, just if we go back a few seconds earlier. So it's okay. It's not the most optimal, but it's still not that big of a deal. So moving on. Now the situation here is pretty clear. So we have that player taking care of that player, we have that player taking care of that player, and essentially this situation is a 2 versus 2. These two players here versus these two players. And now here I want to give my compliments to that player who makes a pretty good job of making sure that he stays on the inside of that player. Like here, he's keeping that distance. He's staying inside. He's not too positioned too far away to have a pass easy behind him. And also at the same time, he's not playing way too much above here, which can allow for that striker to make that shot here if the pass goes in this direction. So this is okay in this situation. One thing to note here is that the goalkeeper's main focus in these situations is to protect the goal, so that player doesn't shoot. He's still far away. Pushing forward is risky because a pass in that direction might mean that, you see how these players are positioned, might mean that the red player is first to the ball and scores. So staying like that at this moment is okay for the goalkeeper. Also, this player is far away and he's progressing with the ball. Now, this player is a bit far away from that situation, so he probably doesn't have much to do. But if we assume that he was a little bit closer here, maybe he had to close down too, just because since the ball is here and that player is pushing forward, it's very hard for him to turn and to pass it down to the number 10. So in this situation, the number 10 here on the blue side, he couldn't do much, so he was just making sure that this player is isolated. But essentially, he made it 2 versus 2, which shouldn't be a problem for the blue team. But essentially, the goalkeeper here made a mistake, and let's see what mistake the goalkeeper made. So one thing I want you to note here is this player is now going up. There is the distance. So if the ball crosses, it's getting pretty dangerous. Now, one thing that this player could do is, I've said it before, is that when the pass goes in that direction, you want to have perpendicular movement. You want to have a 90-degree turn here, a 90-degree angle across this line where the ball is traveling to intercept. So in situations like this, if you're the blue player here, the DM, and you want to intercept, one thing you could do is you try to go with that player, but since he already has the advantage, he has that distance as he's going upwards, you probably will not be able to reach him. And even if you go with him and he passes the ball, if the ball is in that side of the body, it's very hard to play, because if you press X from here, you're essentially scoring an own goal. And if you don't do anything, you just touch the ball, it will go easy for the number 6 too. So this is not a solution. One thing you could do to help the goalkeeper here is to make it a little bit tighter, like go directly and try to close that gap here between the both of you. And if you do it in time, and as I see this player is far away, he's not even entered the penalty area. If you do it early, you're essentially forcing the red player to go backwards to receive the ball, which is okay. Having that gap is not the most optimal thing, but still, that's not the biggest mistake here. I still want to say that the blue player here did his best to maintain, to keep up with that player. And now the goalkeeper here gets the tricky job of maintaining the best positioning. Now here, from that little angle, you could be a little bit more on that side, and still chances that he scores are very slim, because even if he shoots, you have time to react, you have time to move and to kick the ball in corner kick. So staying so close to the post is not optimal. I understand, like, they want to split the responsibility. They want, essentially, the goalkeeper is saying, I'm making sure that this guy doesn't shoot, and you're making sure that this guy doesn't score. That's what they have in their mind. But it doesn't work like that, because as I said earlier, they have this gap here. And I will slow it down a lot, and I want you to see how this player does not react at all to the ball being passed. Now, I'm saying this player could intercept, but as soon as the ball is passed, sorry, this is not a good line. As soon as the ball gets passed like that, the goalkeeper could intercept too. And that's the main problem here with this goal, is that this goalkeeper, the number 27, he does not try to intercept. I'm sure if he tried, he would have intercepted. Now, I want you on the next unpause, I want you to focus on this guy's movement, and especially I want you to focus after the pass. So look, when this guy passes, look as the ball travels up, what this guy does. In best case scenario, he has to go and intercept. And just look what he does, and you understand where the problem with this goal is. Okay, I'm slowing it down, and now we see. Okay, so the ball's kicked. Now look at this guy. He goes backward. The ball travels. He doesn't go for the ball. He hopes that now he presses X again, and now even if it's bad already, here the number 6 kicked the ball into his body, and he didn't time well the X. Otherwise, maybe he could have saved it, and it would be a shame that this player didn't score. But still, you saw, like, that's the movement of the goalkeeper as the ball travels like that, when your movement should be more in that direction to intercept. Just like what this guy did, he just couldn't reach the ball. That's it for this goal. Moving on to the next one that we're going to review here. Now, this goal, I will first show you the whole goal, and then we're gonna start. So I want you to look here. This goal was scored by blue team, but see how the whole situation starts from red attack. So this guy crosses here to number 27. I think he played for a corner, but it didn't work out. As soon as that player reacts, there's a counter attack for the blue team. Let's see how it went. Okay, so he passed. He hoped that this guy is gonna press X and make a corner kick, but he didn't. So now the goalkeeper takes the ball, passes it, and we have a counter attack that is starting. Okay, a back pass. And then from here, it's obvious what happens. Okay, let's go a little bit backwards down here, explain this situation. Okay, starting off from here. Okay, we have the counter attack starting now, and now there's something that's very important. Okay, we do this all the time. This player is responsible for that player, or essentially we have the blue team attacking now, so this guy has to isolate the goalkeeper. That guy has to isolate that guy, and this is a problem because of his cross here. So he crossed, he was here, and that guy was here. So this distance between the two of them is essentially the advantage that player Cocomeo has. So this is gonna be tough for the number 10 here to isolate, and also we have that player trying to stop that player, and that player trying to stop that player. Now, if you see that this player is out of position, or here on the red side, these two guys have to understand that this is essentially a 2 versus 3. Because you have 1 player, 2 players, 3 players versus 1, 2 players. So this is very, very tough to play. And the main thing that the red team needs to do, especially when the ball is here in the enemy territory, is just to stall. Try to win as much time as possible, play as slow as possible, waste time. Because every second that you waste, and this guy holding the ball, you know, when in Haxball, when you're walking with the ball, you're slower than the guy that is running. So the longer this ball is in the feet of the blue players, the slower they are. And this is time where you have your teammates regrouping and helping you in defense. And of course, the quite the opposite is for the blue team. The blue team are trying to play as fast as possible and try to move the ball. So when the ball is moving, none of the players, essentially here, these two players made a few passes between each other, and when they do the passing, they're not slowed down. They have the full running speed, which is essentially what you have to be doing. This is why the back pass is so strong, because you don't slow yourself. And another thing to keep in mind is that, okay, if you're this player and you see this 3 versus 2, you understand that your teammates are going to be slowing down. You have to focus on pushing that player. Even if he does a back pass, he will still waste a little bit of speed. You have to compensate for that, and you have to push him. You have to do everything you can to stop him, because right now everybody is in good position except you. So you have to focus 100% on defense and keeping that player out of the situation. Let's see how that goes. So he gets the ball. Now, here the number 10 is trying to apply pressure, which is good. Okay, this is perfect. This is exactly what they need to be doing. The number here 6 is keeping a very good distance, because he knows the ball's not that easy to go to number 10. He tries to hold that gap here to make it shorter rather than if he was here. So this is all great job on the red team for now. Maybe that player could be a little bit closer. It's a little bit riskier, but still there's no downside to playing closer here. Of course, as soon as this guy passes number 1 and that guy returns the ball number 2, you have to fall back number 3, because if that player moves into that direction or in that direction, you have to go after him. There are many situations, many situations where the strikers do this. So the DM passes the ball, number 1. The striker returns the ball, number 2. And then as soon as he returns the ball, he tries to push number 3 behind. And if this goalkeeper is too close and doesn't react quickly, he could get behind his ball. And then the next step after the back pass would be another pass here, step number 4, which is essentially a goal. If the number 10 does this. So I understand here Amrabat, what he did is he tried to play a little bit safer. It's not 100% mistake. It's not terrible to have this distance, because, as I said, the ball is still is enemy territory. Your goal is far away still. So you could play a little bit more passive, keep that distance so he doesn't run behind your back, and when he makes the back pass, that player could intercept even more and make it a problem for blue team to maintain possession. Still, my recommendation, play a little bit closer. Moving on. Okay, so now the pass is done. As soon as the pass gets here, again, the distance here remains stable. But now, very good movement on that player to go in this direction and to offer. He wants to run away from the red guy who is pretty much blocking him and making it harder for him to play with the ball. So great movement here from Cocomelo, offering himself for a pass. And this guy should follow and try to intercept as much as possible. On the next unpost, look at this guy's movement. He is not following, and he's giving so much space for that guy to play with the ball. Just look how look at this guy. I will slow it even more. Okay, he stops the ball. Now Amrabat is closing down the distance. The distance is, you see, they're getting closer and closer. But see, the distance between these two players, it needs to remain the same, but it gets bigger and bigger, because that guy doesn't follow. And now, as soon as the back pass is given, there is not much you can do because you're far away. Now he takes the ball. And again, see, he's running in that direction. No, you have to run in that direction. You have to push. You have to cause trouble here for the blue player. You just running alongside him as a referee and looking at what he does is not helping your teammates at all. So number 10 here, probably the largest mistake for the goal. And now another thing to note here, the number 6 here is doing his best to stop number 10. And now this could be a pass and could be dangerous if the number 10 is faster. Amrabat here is in a very, very tough spot because on one hand, if you draw this line and see where the... Okay, this was terrible, sorry about that. If we draw that line from here of this player, and then of that player, and then of that player, we see that Amrabat is the last man in the defense. So when the ball, if the ball is passed as a diagonal pass, yes, it's traveling towards number 10, but depending on the angle, if it's, for example, passed in that direction, Amrabat having that distance advantage between the number 10 here, if running in that direction, he could be first and he could save the goal. So one thing that Amrabat keeps in mind is to make sure that he has the advantage to start running there and to be first. That's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing, however, to keep in mind is that if you go too much in that direction, that player could play with the ball if the pass is given here and if he makes that pass, then the angle of the pass is so high that it goes directly into the Bernardeschi here in number 10, and that's a goal. So it's very tough to decide from the goalkeeper's perspective. Do you want to go there and stop this pass, or you want to play closer to stop that pass? It's very tough to decide because here these players are very close. Like, for example, if the number 6 had a little bit of a higher advantage, if just for a second we imagine that this is the number 6, then Amrabat could have played here with more confidence and could have blocked that pass, could have pressed, and of course this guy too. So this maybe could have saved the team, because if Daps here and the number 6 was here, that pass wouldn't be that big of a difference, because 100% sure he was going to be first and he was going to be second. So this is pretty much the thing that caused the most problems for the red team here to decide. It was very tough for Amrabat to play both positions, to cover both passes, so he essentially played somewhere in the middle. On this Haxball level, it's tough to decide, because if you play all-in and only cover this one, it's very easy choice for the DM to pass like that. If you cover this area, it's very easy choice for the DM to pass here. So you want to be somewhere in the middle in hopes that this guy makes the wrong decision, the wrong move, and of course if you anticipate what he does, you could simply intercept. So I think Amrabat here did the best he could, and the whole situation, the whole problem started from the number 10 here, from Jakub, who could have done a better job in making sure that this guy doesn't play with the ball so easily. Like, I understand maybe you can't prevent him from playing at all, but you gave him all time on earth to focus, to make the decision, to make the calculations, to make the pass, to be accurate, and then as you saw in the replay, this is essentially what happens. You have the pass, he positioned himself. Now as soon as the ball travels, you have to press. There is no other choice. Like, you have to press. Just running backwards and maintaining this distance the same is not solving anything, because that pass, there is no way that the number 6 stops him. And also, if you press and the number 10 sees that you're gonna press, what some good players would do, as soon as they see that you press, and okay, sorry about this. So let's do it in steps again. Step number 1, pass. This player presses, step number 2. Then a back pass could be step number 3, because you see that he presses you could move forward in that direction if you're number 10. You back pass again perfectly for the DM, and as soon as the ball gets here, he could make a 4th pass, hoping that number 10 could be first. Of course, I'm not saying this is happening all the time, but if the number 6 here gets distracted and doesn't keep moving to keep the advantage, and if this pass is not perfect, maybe number 6 could be first. But if the number 4 pass goes somewhere in that direction, and Daps doesn't manage to intercept it here, that could be a goal for the blue team. But I'm just giving you situations and scenarios how the blue player could have played it differently. So blue player played it perfectly, seeing the gap, passing. But if Amrabat did this move, and I think he had to do it because just going backwards is too easy, he could have hoped that this player makes a mistake, or the best thing that the number 10 could do if the goalkeeper presses is make a good back pass. make a good back pass, and then a forward pass towards the number 10 is probably the most optimal play for blue. If Amrabat plays it with pressure, of course. Okay, so that's it. We got the pass and then the goal, which is nothing else to explain about it. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.